This is the Mechanic Show. Mechanic! Today's a good day because I'm revisiting my most popular video, the one about Metal Sonic, Amy, and Sonic Adventure. I've been making a lot of Sonic content lately, and while researching for another video I'm currently working on, I had a realization. My Sonic theory was way more on the money than I originally thought. Classic to adventure connections. Sonic Adventure was one of Sega's major attempts to modernize the Blue Blur on the Dreamcast. Instead of retelling classic plots, the story focuses on expanding the lore, the Echidna Tribe, Chaos, the Chaos Emeralds, and the Master Emerald. The Chaos Emeralds appear throughout Sonic 1 through 3, while Sonic CD instead focuses on the Time Stones. So from a storytelling perspective, it makes sense that Sonic Adventure leans more heavily on the games that already feature the Chaos Emeralds. Sonic and Knuckles in particular actually has more connections to the Sonic Adventure games than people realize, including cut content and unused ideas. If you want me to go into that, let me know, especially now, after Shadow Generations and all the Sega leaks, there's a lot you can dig up online. Sonic CD to Adventure. When it comes to Sonic CD, the main connections that carry over are Metal Sonic and Amy. And notably, both of them look different in Sonic Adventure. Sonic CD has always been weird. It released after Sonic 2, but its continuity placement has been debated for decades. Some place it before Sonic 2, others after Sonic and Knuckles. Personally, I prefer being placed after Sonic and Knuckles, but that's a discussion for another day. In my theory, I argue that Amy's flashback in Sonic Adventure is most likely not referencing Sonic CD. Using the in-game evidence, like Sonic's own recap of his past adventure, I suggest that the flashback represents one of the unseen journeys Sonic mentions, rather than a retelling of an existing game. Addressing the comments. Let's talk about some of the comments and questions I've been getting since I posted that theory. A lot of people say the flashback is just a cutscene reusing assets, and that I'm looking too deep into it. Which is wild to me, because Sonic Adventure's cutscenes, the visual leap, and the storytelling are the entire point of the game. Ignoring them doesn't make any sense. Yes, the scene uses assets from prototype builds, but so what? We can easily assume the location we see is an Eggman facility we never visit, or another area similar to Windy Valley, or a completely different location altogether. There are tons of environments in the Sonic universe that look similar. One sharp-eyed commenter pointed out that Sonic has the crystal ring in the flashback, even though he hasn't met Amy yet in the story. The suggestion was that the scene doesn't make sense, and it's either just filler or entirely in Amy's imagination. So I booted up Sonic Adventure and tested this myself. When you start the game, you can only play as Sonic, but once you unlock Tails, you can then unlock Amy through his campaign. If you do this without obtaining the crystal ring with Sonic, Sonic does not wear the ring in the flashback cutscene. That tells us something important. Characters simply wear whatever gear you've unlocked at the point of the save file. This was likely done to save memory or simply asset management. So while it's a good catch, the context of the scene, combined with Amy's explanation, recalling her time with Sonic, makes it far safer to interpret this as a memory, not a random fantasy. Another comment suggests the flashback was meant to retcon the classic games. I don't buy that. All the characters clearly shared history and talk like they've known each other for years. And I understand the characters' ages fluctuates between Sonic CD and the modern games, but Sonic canon has always been inconsistent with the ages. I really don't think that was the intent of this cutscene. One comment claimed that Metal Sonic's design in Sonic Adventure stayed the same until Sonic Rivals. That's only half true. Metal Sonic's design in Sonic Adventure is not the same as his design in Sonic Adventure 2, and Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, came out before Sonic Rivals. There's a great video that breaks down every 3D model that Metal Sonic has throughout the games. I'll link that below if you want to know more about that. The argument is that they are all technically the same Metal Sonic, just altered by the graphics or maybe because of all the different designers. And that's fair, but I like digging deeper, and I think there is an in-universe explanation. And yeah, I think I've got something. The case. For my case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I want you to focus on the Sonic timeline. Specifically, let's look at the games that take place between Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic Adventure. We have Sonic Mania, Sonic Superstars, and Sonic the Hedgehog 4. All three games have Metal Sonic, by the way. But today, I want to zero in on Sonic the Hedgehog 4. Yes, everybody's favorite game, right? And here's why. At the end of Sonic CD, Metal Sonic is left behind on Little Planet, but by the time you reach Sonic Adventure, Metal Sonic is no longer there. Sonic 4 is the only game that actually shows Dr. Eggman reviving and restoring Metal Sonic after Sonic CD. That alone explains why Metal Sonic is not on Little Planet in Amy's Flashback in Sonic Adventure. Sonic 4 uses modern character designs, and on the official Sonic timeline, it marks the very beginning of the modern era, placed directly before Sonic Adventure. So when you combine Sonic's recap with Amy's flashback, everything lines up. The long journey Sonic's referring to, that journey is Sonic 4. Metal Sonic appears in that game, and he already has a different design than in Sonic CD. Objection! Hold it right there. Sonic 4 doesn't even have Amy in it. Metal Sonic is nowhere near her in the game. And don't try to say that it's referring to Mania or Superstars, because Amy is clearly wearing her classic outfit. Well, true, all fair points, but last year we also learned something important. Sonic 4 was incomplete. Leaks and developer material strongly suggest the series was meant to continue. We even uncovered cut content indicating Knuckles was planned for Episode 3, or potential Episode 3. So when we look at it, the cut content, the unfinished episode structure, Sonic's recap, and Amy's flashback, it becomes clear these elements were meant to connect. It is entirely reasonable to conclude that Amy's flashback is part of the unfinished Sonic 4 storyline, and the canon timeline actively supports that interpretation. Objection again. Even if we accept that, you said Metal Sonic has a new form. In Sonic 4, he just has his modern design. Okay. Then let me ask you this. Isn't it interesting that Sonic 4 includes a dedicated DLC episode entirely focused on Metal Sonic? And in that episode, Metal Sonic does look different than he does in Sonic CD. When Metal Sonic reaches the Lost Labyrinth zone, he discovers a mysterious orb. That orb may not transform him immediately, but it clearly alters him. He becomes more powerful, surrounded by energy, and even equipped with an altered moveset. This orb might be the catalyst that enables Metal Sonic's ability to radically change. And this isn't the final time that Metal Sonic uses his orb. In Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, the same power is tied directly to his ultimate ability, as you can see in this image. Mystical energy, mystical gems, the Chaos Emeralds, etc. has changed Metal Sonic's appearance before. So, it is not far-fetched to suggest the orb is what eventually leads to the redesigned Metal Sonic we see in Sonic Adventure. Ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case. Like and subscribe. You guys are welcome. I'll see you next time.